Hey, Dena here. I just saw the It movie, and I did not see it alone.
Hey, Dena.
Oh, God.
You want a balloon? How about some Midori? Or a White Russian?
Oh, my God.
It's Lee. I'm here. I saw the movie, too. It was great.
So, I wanna hear what you thought of the movie first, because you don't tend to like horror movies. And in fact, you were a lot more impressed by the trailer than I was, and you basically dragged me to this, so...
Oh, yeah. When I initially saw the trailer, I mean, I was still very, hesitant to say, oh, this is gonna be a great movie, because, I don't know. But I saw something in it. It looked like it was very well shot. The kid actors looked really cool, and, plus, Pennywise. It's pretty freaky, man, with that lazy eye. I'm like, there might be something to this movie. And then I saw a lot of people giving rave reviews about it. And said, Dena, you can't ignore this movie. You got to come see it with me. So I dragged you to see it.
Yeah, I was actually not impressed by the trailer, but I will say that a lot of stuff that looked bad-ish to me in the trailer actually did work in context. So, I don't know, I guess I was worried that it was gonna be that kind of horror movie that's trying too hard to be scary, because horror movies these days don't really have a lot of subtlety, and I was kind of worried it was gonna be like that, and it kind of wasn't a way, but it worked.
Dark comedy of the year. Funniest movie I've seen all year.
Yeah, basically you don't like horror movies because you just think they're funny.
I didn't say I don't like horror movies.
Well, okay, you're not a horror movie fan.
I guess so. I'm just not really scared by horror movies all that much. I mean, and this movie's no exception. I wasn't scared at all, but because the clown was just so awesome. I'm like, yeah, scare the shit out of those little kids. Fuck them up.
Yeah, well, it was definitely scary for me anyway. Yeah, I think for me the most effective part of it was keeping it vague for now, Georgie's death. Yeah, spoiler, Georgie dies in this movie. Georgie's death was pretty graphic, I guess.
It was at that point in the movie, which was very early, I realized that I am extremely screwed up because I laughed so hard at a child's death of having his arm ripped off. Not because of him, but just because of Dena's reaction, because I saw her just reacting in horror. And it's like, oh no, poor Georgie, his arm got ripped off, he's trying to crawl away.
Okay, well, I was trying to save that for after the spoilers section.
That's like 2 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, but I was glad I didn't know what was going to happen there, because
kid's dead as shit.
I was glad I didn't know what was going to happen there, because I had heard that his death was a lot more, I don't know if I heard graphic per se, but it was a lot more, I guess I heard that it was more, I don't remember what I heard, but anyway, I heard that there was a lot more to it than in the mini-series where we just see, you know, Pennywise grab his arm and Georgie screams and it cuts to his funeral.
Not this time.
Wow, that was like, I'm really shocked that they showed his, basically, hopefully you've seen the movie if you're listening to this, because you really need to, if you haven't seen it, you need to stop listening to this right now. Basically, yeah, I think we both recommend it, right?
Yeah, go see it.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, onto the more spoilerish parts. Like, Pennywise, like in the book, and it's sort of implied in the miniseries, he pulled Georgie's arm off.
Yep.
In this one, he grabs Georgie by the arm and then bites his arm off, and Georgie is like screaming and crying and trying to scramble away, and it's horrible. And he like grabs him and drags him into the sewer. And God, what was I saying?
And we got reaction shots from an old person and also a cat, and I'm like, oh, the cat didn't want to see this shit. Not today.
Was the cat actually I don't recall.
Yeah, the cat was like, ugh.
Was the cat looking like, yeah. There, right before all the horrible part happened, like when Georgie's looking into the sewer, this one lady just kind of looks and sees him doing that, and she's just like, whatever, and she walks off.
She's like, it's that time of the time of the century, I guess.
Because Derry. That's how people are in Derry. They don't notice what's going on and they don't care. Because, like, normally if you saw a kid, like, reaching into a drain, you'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Or something. Anyway, I got a little off track there, but, yeah, I was freaking out at Georgie's death. I can't believe, like, how long that went on. And, yeah, I was just like, oh my god!
Oh, that was a highlight right there.
That's gonna stay with me for a while. That was really traumatic.
That was at that point I realized, wow, I brought Dena to the wrong movie, especially after she's got so much of it on the brain right now.
Yeah.
She knows all these characters so intimately.
Yeah, all the kids were really good, as I expected from that was the one part of the trailer that was the one part of the trailer where I'm like, okay, at least this part of the movie's gonna be good. Like, they got really good child actors and their dialogue is really good.
Yeah, they got pretty kids. Pretty good kids, even like Molly Ringwald.
Yeah. Like, Bev looked like Molly Ringwald and, what's his name? Patrick Hockstetter kind of looked like John Travolta. I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't give more screen time to Patrick Hockstetter because, as you may remember, I talked about it a little bit in my video. In the book, he had a lot more to do, and he was this really fucked up kid who liked to torture animals and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a scene in the book where he, like, God, I think it came after him in the form of, like, giant mosquitoes or leeches or flying leeches, I think is what they were. And I was kind of hoping there'd be something like that in the movie, but yeah.
No time for that. No time for Belch either.
He was, yeah. I'm like, well, that one's Belch.
Yep. And he got in one, and then he's gone.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would maybe, I mean, I guess they can't really fit a lot of it in. I was kind of hoping they'd do a little more with Patrick Hockstetter, but at least you can tell which one he was supposed to be in the miniseries. He was like one of the nameless bullies in the background, and like I only know that Patrick Hockstetter was in the miniseries because he was listed in the credits. Like, the person who played him was listed as having played Patrick Hockstetter.
The clown.
Oh, I guess.
How creepy he was. Would you like to tell me about Pennywise?
Yeah, Pennywise. The way they handled him was interesting because I was a little bit worried. Because I kept feeling like they were going to get as far away from Tim Curry's portrayal as they could, which they kind of did, but I was a little bit worried they were going to try to, like, I don't know, take him too seriously or something and not have fun with it, but he was actually surprisingly fun. He was scary as fuck, but he was also fun, and there were a couple moments where he was downright goofy, and that was really cool.
Didn't necessarily think he was scary. Creepy, yes. I mean, all I could do was fixate on that damn lazy eye he had because he just couldn't get that human clown form down, right? And all I could do was laugh whenever he charged at the kids because he'd always, like, go, Skinner, 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 Skinner. All I could think of is, like, oh, he's like a real-life Sonic in the friggin' fast Sonic music. But he's like, because he's so fast at skittering. It's so I just laugh because I'm like, he's like, I can't even.
Yeah, it was a weird mix of, like, funny and scary when he was attacking because it was so over the top the way they did it.
Yeah, and yet I know it's really scary to some people because it was very unnerving, I guess.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he was awesome in his role. Everything was great.
Yeah, that worked out really well. I didn't really even feel the need to compare him to Tim Curry because they were so different. And there were some complaints I had about Pennywise's design and stuff, and I honestly didn't even think about it while watching the movie. So
no complaints here. Yeah.
Like I said, they played him a little more for comedy than I thought they would, and that helped. The like I said, it was scary as hell, not just Pennywise, but just everything. The scare that was the most effective for me was Stan. His parents had this painting of a woman. I didn't realize it was a woman at first, but it was sort of in a.
Don't know what thrift store they got that shit from.
I want to say, like, who the hell would have that painting in their house, but somebody would.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, at my workplace, we got some horrible drawing where it's like, oh, it's an open field and a farm, and there's a cow. Great! Somebody will just put any art up just because
Yeah,
it's art.
this was more like, I don't know, I guess it was impressionistic, but like her face was kind of really long and sort of stretched out, and there was a curve in the middle of it, and her eyes were crooked. And he saw basically this painting come to life, like the woman had stepped out of the painting, and he was seeing like a quote-unquote real-life version of her, and it was fucking terrifying. There was a scene where she just like rushes at him, and you see her face coming right at the camera.
Scared.
And I guess you've never done this because the horror movies don't scare you, but I don't know. Have you ever, I'll address this to the audience, I guess. Have you ever like had something that was so hard to look at in a horror movie that was like so scary or whatever, like your hands flew up to your face to cover your eyes?
Maybe. I remember watching Ernest Scared Stupid as a kid.
Oh yeah, that freaked you out, didn't it?
There's that scene where the kid's checking to see if there's a monster under his bed, and there's nothing, and then he gets up and turns around, and there's that friggin' troll, and that troll fucks him up. So, yeah, that traumatized me for a while, but that was when I was 10, so...
Yeah, that's right, I forgot about that.
Other than that, well, I mean, there's not a bunch of spiders, it's not arachnophobia or something. So, no, not really, no.
I forgot that you have a fear of spiders. You're the one that always has to kill them
I don't
around
have
here.
a fear of spiders. I just don't want to see arachnophobia ever again.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they tried to false advertise it as a comedy movie with John Goodman.
That movie, that and Eight-Legged Freaks both fucked me up due to my fear of spiders.
I've not seen that movie yet, but that one looks fun.
I don't know. It depends on how your fear of spiders works, I guess.
I think it's enough to be able to handle that movie.
It got me thinking about how if giant spiders existed, they would be the most horrible thing ever, and you would not want to be caught by them. But anyway, where was I getting at? Oh yeah, I was talking about the apparition that was scaring Stan, and yeah, there was a moment where she was moving at the camera really quickly, and my hands, this has not happened to me in a long time, but my hands actually flew up to my face to cover my eyes.
Well, she does have a lot of teeth. I
don't remember that. I just remember the shape of her head and how her eyes were all crooked and they were white.
I would not want to be that creature's dentist with how many friggin' teeth it has.
Oh, God.
There's like some animal or fish or maybe something that I saw one time where they opened its mouth and showed how many teeth it had. That reminded me of the clown, pretty much.
I think I may have seen that or something similar to that.
Layers of teeth in there. Mm-hmm. It's just endless teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a scene where Pennywise opened his mouth really wide and there were just rows and rows and rows of teeth. Mm-hmm. And actually, I was watching The Horror Guru and Count Jacula talk about the movie, and they pointed out that there was one point that was kind of reminiscent of Nightmare on Elm Street 4 because Pennywise opened up his mouth and all these little arms reached out. It was kind of like at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street 4 when all of Freddy's victims kind of like they reach out of him and they grab him and pull him apart.
Getting desperate at that point. Oh, we're getting into the spoilers now?
Oh, we've been into the spoilers for a while. Where have you been?
Okay, yeah, it's like, during that point, during the final battle, and they were just beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I don't remember much about the TV movie other than what I remember from your review and everything, but I remember the fights being a lot more lame in the TV movie. But in the real movie, they had a goddamn battle.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very physical in the movie. It was more like...
This is battery acid.
Shut up. Yeah, Eddie did his the battery acid thing, and then Bev hit him with a silver earring.
Oh, not in this movie.
Yeah, this one is a lot more.
In this
like
movie, he
physical.
didn't even have that inhaler with him. He threw it away before he went in the building. They were going in there to just beat the fuck out of that clown with blunt objects, baseball bats, everything. They just messed him up.
Yeah, that was actually interesting how Eddie actually confronted his mother about his medicine being fake and everything.
Yeah.
That's that definitely. Pretty sure that didn't.
Did it happen in the book?
Trying to remember if it happened. I don't think. No, it couldn't have, because I'm pretty sure that one scene in the miniseries where Eddie tries to go after it as an adult with the inhaler and it doesn't work. That was also in the book.
Oh well, they abandoned that.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
I mean,
there was a lot of like little threads that they tied up that didn't get tied up until they were adults in the book. So
it felt like it was more well put together than TV movie.
Yeah.
And it felt like any of the hokey problems I had with the TV movie were kind of retconned or ignored in the movie, and it made the movie much better for it, I guess, because it was better. Not saying the TV movie was bad. I mean, come on, it was 1990 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a 1990.
And it was a TV movie.
I was about to say that it's a 1990 TV movie, so you know.
Yeah, we're still talking about that today.
I still feel like they, did the best they could with what they had there.
Yeah.
The only one of the I'm trying to mainly keep the two separate from each other because they are very different from each other, despite being based on the same book, obviously. But I still thought Jonathan Brandis was better than the kid who played Bill in this movie.
All about Bill. It's like, Bill!
I don't.
Yes, I agree. On that point, the child actor from It that did Bill in the TV movie was better, but only because that kid was really good.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of the kids possibly were better in this movie.
I don't know. See, I don't know if that's fair because they did get better dialogue in this movie, so that might contribute to it.
It's not just the dialogue; it's just the way I don't know, the way they're portrayed and the accuracy, I guess. Not accuracy, but just it seemed more real to me, I guess, because it seemed like all the kids that were people I kind of knew in middle school, especially the short little motor mouth kid. It's like, yeah, I know a kid just like that. Oh, it's little Jerry, but I don't know what his name is here. But
Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie dropped a lot of F-bombs too. That really that surprised me.
Hey, I mean, with the things that that he saw, I would have said the exact same thing. I would have said, holy fucking shit, if I saw dead bodies come flying at me or something like that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, he was a little potty mouth, but you know what? I can totally imagine that with how his mom screwed him up. So.
Yeah, Eddie had issues.
I did it all for you. So again, I turned out just fine. Fuck you, Mom.
Yeah, another thing that was pretty freaky was the leper that Eddie saw. Like, I think it had no nose, but you could see it moving as it breathed. It was, I don't know how to explain.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny.
But like
too.
the outer edges of like the bit of nose was left. You could kind of see it go in and out. As it
waddling towards you.
It was really fucked up. That was a really freaky design, and it worked really well.
And then he quickly morphed into a clown with a lot of balloons.
Oh yeah.
It's like, wow, he's really good at those balloons.
That's a lot of balloons.
Yeah. I mean, he must have really racked them up at the dollar store.
Oh my god. It was sort of implied, like it wasn't graphic or shown very much of, but it was basically implied that Bev's dad, how can I put this? He was inappropriate. So I'm pretty sure I don't remember that from the book, but there's a lot I don't remember from the book, so...
Well, I mean, yeah, he's like, you're still my girl, right? She's like...
I literally, I don't know if you could hear me, but I was literally going, why?
I was squirming a little bit. I'm like, can't we go back to the TV movie where he was just hitting her? We got to that point. It's just, that was just really squiggly. That was the squirmiest part of the movie for me. It was that dude.
That was pretty gross.
And I'm glad he got his comeuppance.
Yeah, Bev's dad was creepy in the miniseries, but in a different kind of way.
Much worse in the movie.
Yeah. They kind of hit on the love triangle with Bev and Bill and Ben. They all have names that start with B. I just thought of that. Anyway, that was kind of more of a... They kind of did more with that in this movie than the miniseries did, and I'm pretty sure more than the book. I think the book was pretty... Like, it wasn't really even a love triangle per se. It's just like Ben secretly had a thing for Bev, and Bill also did, and Bev was kind of more attracted to Bill than Ben, and that was kind of it, I think.
Well, Bill wasn't very secretive about it.
Yeah, definitely not in this
like,
movie.
Hey, you're hot. You know, you're hot and I'm not fat. Let's hook up.
Oh, God.
All I know is I laughed throughout most of the movie when I really shouldn't have, and even during a scene where Bill finds Bev and she's hanging up in the air. He's like, I'll come back for you later. And all I can think of is bad 80s action lines like, hang around.
Oh, God.
As he just runs by. It's like, you're fine up there. I'm sure it'll work itself out with all the other dead kids that are they're definitely floating down here. Apparently.
Stay right there. Oh, that was interesting where all the kids were floating in the... I see what they were doing. We all float down here. I just caught that.
Pennywise is not a liar. He may be misleading, but he does not lie.
That's another thing that I'm pretty sure isn't in the book, but I thought that was interesting because that kind of alludes to me. Maybe I'm just weird, but I assume all those kids are dead because we didn't see them be rescued or anything at the end.
Oh yeah, dead as fuck.
So I thought it was going to turn out that they weren't dead, and I almost thought they were going to do that with Georgie at some point. I'm like, it's not going to turn out that these kids aren't really dead, is it? Because that would be kind of a chicken shit thing to do.
No.
But no, I'm pretty sure since we didn't see them get rescued, I assume they were all dead. But the way they were all kind of floating, and it's like, it kind of reminds me of a spider and how they, wrap up their prey and kind of save them for later when they get hungry.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought about that at some point, and I'm like, okay, I think I see what you're doing there, movie. Kind of alluding to what I assume it's gonna take the form of a spider in the second movie, so.
I suppose.
So yeah, that made me think of that. I think we're about done. I've kind of run out of things to talk about. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
Hey, Dena.
What?
What was better? The TV movie part 1? Or the cinematic movie part 1?
Oh my god. I don't really like to compare them. Like I said, I like to think of them as two different things, but I guess if you held a gun to my head, I would have to say that the movie's technically better, but I'm always gonna love the miniseries for all the stuff it did right, because I still thought the child actors in that were really good, so.
I love Tim Curry.
And of course Tim Curry is what I was about to say.
But the new movie is better in almost every way.
Alright, whatever.
Is your refrigerator running?
Okay, I think we're
Then
done.
you'd better go and catch it. Ha-ha! Ha-ha!
Okay, I think we're done here.
Ha-ha!
I think we're done here. That's it for now. See you next time.